What up, family? Samuel Gina's here again with Predict Your Business, where I help entrepreneurs wear less hats. Ooh, I just tripped there. Wear less hats and grow their business in a more predictable way. I actually wanted to share this. I was supposed to share this in my previous video, but I didn't. But I want to share it in this one. And I want to talk about the importance of science and technology. And not, I'm going to get into the business part, but I'm going to make a very controversial statement. Y'all know I'm African American. My roots take me back to Africa, right? But one of the questions that I always wanted to know, why are things the way they are? What were some of the advantages and disadvantages and things of that nature? And I know that slavery existed and racism existed, but how was one group of people conquered as opposed to another group of people, they won the war? So I'm looking at this even from a war perspective. How is it possible for a nation to be conquered? Period. Whether you say racism, slavery, whatever you say. But I look at it as a game, right? Like basketball. How did one team win and the other team lose? What advantage did one team have that the other team did not have? Did they have better teamwork? Were their teams stronger, faster? Was the coaches better? Did they have better leadership? Did they have better sneakers, right? Was the court better? Was one floor slippery? I don't know, whatever it is. What advances? And I'm just talking about, how was this team able to win in the first place? And one of the things that always kind of bothered me, and I'm just keeping it 100, I think it was like the Zulu nation, they had spears. I think it was the Zulu nation, so I'm guessing someone will correct me. So if I'm saying something wrong, correct me in the comments below. Oh, by the way, I'm coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. I'm chilling out here with my wife and my sister and my brother-in-law. So we just walking to town. We're actually heading to Devon's house, I guess, Davon House. I guess it was like a historical place. So I'm just sharing my thoughts because I wanted to get my videos in, so I'm doing it as we go. But basically, the Zulu nation had spears, bow and arrows, stuff like that. But if I'm not mistaken, like the Spaniards or their enemy came with a Gatling gun. My question is, how did that happen? How is it that the Zulu nation, their science and technology, only got them as far as spears? Very brave men, powerful men. But yet they got destroyed like it was nothing. Because when their enemy came with an advantage. I hope y'all catching my point now. They came with an advantage. We going way back into history now. How did the Zulu nation and some of these other nations in Africa get conquered? Because our enemies came in with an advantage. They came in with a military advantage. But here's the question. Were the men stronger? Not necessarily. Here's what gave them the advantage. Their military weapons gave them the advantage. But was that really the advantage? No, it wasn't. The real advantage was the science and the technology. I hope y'all catch this point, because sometimes we don't like to acknowledge, why we lose. We want to act like just because we black, just because we got melanin, that we so great and we so this. And don't get me wrong, I am great. We are great. You are great. But you got to understand, humanity is great. Humans are great. And you ain't the only humans on the planet. Humans have brains. And you ain't the only one who's using your brain. Other people are using their brain. And when somebody wants something from you, they will sit down and strategize. They will sit down and try to figure out, how can we get the upper hand? How do we get an advantage? So they went into the classroom. They went into the laboratory, rather. They were sharing ideas with other nations, understanding, like I think it was the Asians or the Indians created gunpowder. Then the Europeans found out about it, The Europeans didn't isolate themselves. They went to Asia and was like, yo, share that with us. We'll trade with you. You see what I'm saying? Y'all catch this? You see how we limit ourselves? You see how when we isolate ourselves, when we don't hang out with other people, when we don't learn from other people, because guess what? The gunpowder wasn't created in Africa. And that gunpowder, became an advantage. The Europeans came along and utilized that gunpowder. You took their knowledge, merged it, combined it with the knowledge that they got from the Asians. Guess what? And they created some powerful weapons, man. They weren't using bow and arrows anymore. They weren't using spears anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? And sometimes the reason why we lose in business is because we are still practicing things that were done 30 years ago. You know, you trying to do business with technology from the 1980s and it's 2019. I hope you feel me, right? Because what I'm saying is the truth, you know, and it doesn't matter how good you look. It doesn't matter how great your product is, right? It doesn't matter if you're using outdated strategies, if you're using outdated technology, if you're using outdated principles, right? You ain't gonna stand a chance in 2019 and beyond, because technology is changing, right? Science and technology is constantly evolving, and these technologies and these sciences is changing the game dramatically, right? Some of you are riding buses. Well, guess what? The day is gonna come when buses are gonna ride themselves, right? Some of you think, well, I'm just strong and I can fight in military battles. Well, guess what? Drones and robots are being created, and and it's going to be completely different. You know what I mean? Your job is not as secure as you think it is. Your business is not as secure as you think it is. This is the reason why you got to pay attention to science and technology and see what's coming down the pike so that you can be prepared to make whatever adjustments you got to make in your business. Because guess what? Your competitors are looking for the advantage. While you're sleeping, they're researching. While you're playing games, they're reading a book to get the competitive edge. While you're isolating yourselves and saying, I only want to work with black people, I only want to work with white people, I only want to work with Asians, I only want to work with Indians, I only want to work with Russians, I only want to work with Christians or Muslims, right? While you're playing that segregation game, guess what? Right? Your competitors are networking, they're building allies, they're creating agreements, they're creating partnerships and joint ventures, and they're merging together with other intelligent people, and they're going to have an advantage. You're trying to figure out a way to make $1 million all by yourself. Meanwhile, intelligent people, they're like, wait a second, I ain't going to make that million by myself, but I think if I find 3 other partners, we can make $1 million together, right? And we can divide the $1 million 4 ways, and we can walk away with $250,000 each, right? So meanwhile, you're still trying to make $1 million by yourself, and when 2 years has passed, you've only made $25,000. Meanwhile, your competitors, has teamed up together, and they created $1 million together, and they all walked away with $250,000. Who walked away with more money? Who walked away with more power? They did. This is the reason why we can't isolate ourselves, right? We got to pay attention to that. So remember, I've said this before and I'm going to continue to say it. Wars are won in the classroom. Wars are won in the laboratory room. Wars are won through research and development. Yeah. And this is the reason why you have to make sure that your company makes research and development a major project in your business. You need to make sure that research and development is in your budget, right? Because people are constantly creating things, new things are constantly coming out, and if you're not careful, your competitors will pass you, and you'll still be using outdated material, outdated technology, outdated skill sets. You'll wonder why you're not winning, right? Science and technology is really what's changing the game. The Zulu nation and some of these African nations lost, not because they were weak men. They were not weak men. They just wasn't prepared, right, for a new type of warfare. I hope y'all catch that, right? Because you got to be man enough to accept the truth. You know what I mean? They were not prepared for modern warfare. They thought that you still fight with bow and arrows and spears. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Some of y'all are heading to a gunfight and you bringing a knife. Some of y'all trying to make $1 million, but you bringing 5th grade education. Some of y'all are trying to make 6 figures a month, 7 figures a month, right? But you coming with an 8th grade education. right? You got to up your reading abilities. You got to upgrade your math abilities. You got to upgrade your speaking abilities. You got to upgrade your network abilities. You got to upgrade your strategies. You got to upgrade your technology. You got to upgrade your inner circle. You got to upgrade your mindset, right? Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. You're going to lose every single time. You know what I mean? That bullet is faster than your knife. You know, there's more bullets in the chamber. I own guns, and I guarantee you, I know you might be able to stab a few people with a knife. I get it. You ain't winning no battle, no war with knives when your enemies got machine guns. Focus on science and technology. Make sure people on your team understand science and technology, right? Make sure the people on your team, you know, is not putting themselves in a disadvantage, right? Stay up on your game. Go to the conferences. Find out what people are doing. Find out the trends. Where will your industry be in the next 2, 5, 10, 15 years? You got to think about that stuff. You can't just be looking at today. You need to be looking at 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. This is how you grow a business, right? This is how you maintain relevance in your business over a long period of time, all right? So I want to share that with you. I'm enjoying Kingston, Jamaica. Pretty nice out here. You know, some mixed feelings out here. There's some great parts, some bad parts, but my pops is from here. So I'm discovering a piece of my roots, you know what I mean? And I'm having a blast doing it. Doing my videos while I'm out here, spending money with the locals, hanging out with the locals, talking to the locals. Met a few friends here. Hopefully we'll be able to do something over the next couple of months, you know. Looking forward to coming back. So I'm having a blast. If I've said something that benefits you, make a comment. Don't forget to click the link below. Sign up for UShare 360 back office, where you can manage your contacts, manage your e-commerce, manage your website, manage your invoices and your billing, manage your projects, your marketing funnels, your email campaigns, all that good stuff, right? It's an all-in-one system. This is not a free trial. It's a free system you can get in, right? When your business grows, that's when you start paying, all right? So I look forward to working with you. Click on the link below. Sign up for free access. I will see you in the next video. Take care.